we're going to get a conclusion one way or the other in this game. And as you can see, we're already in Champ Select because we don't mess around here at the NLC.
Are you sure? Fairly sure we do.
We mess around quite a lot here at the NLC, but not when it comes to going into Champ Select. But let's see. Ban Aphelios. Ban Dr. Mundo. I'm sick. I'm sick of these champs. I want to see something different.
But what do you mean, Viper? And each of these teams have won a game this series. Surely what they're doing is right. It will be interesting to see how both these teams can respond to that last game, because that felt like the real slam game we've seen today, where it was actually a lot on that draft. It was a lot on how the team. It was less on, oh, we're just going to play badly, we can run it back. That was more, actually, what the hell do you do there at that point? So I'm interested to see what is going to happen with stuff like of course, the Thresh was huge, enabling the Aphelios, so again, adding the box into the fray, which was so annoying.
Yeah, and like in some ways, even if it's not the Aphelios, then maybe the Thresh, because that empowers more than just the Aphelios. And I think that would potentially be a worthy ban here for Trick, because I suspect otherwise you just first pick it for Rux as Fnatic. They'll go for the Jace instead, which I guess makes sense in some ways because of how much time Alexa Pride have put into it. But the Aphelios, the Thresh, they're open. We call for them to be off the table. They're not. I need to see whether somebody has an answer, because it's all but guaranteed it's getting locked in one way or another.
I guess interestingly here, we've seen Aurelia picked and banned throughout the day. Absolutely not in this point. I mean, against the Trundle, maybe you think that's a little bit awkward because Aurelia just gets ulted, gets queued, and then doesn't do very much. Interesting that is the first pick amongst so many, because this is what I love about best of threes, and I love it about teams facing each other continually too. You just get to learn about the enemy team. You find yourself a series meta, a team meta in some ways. And of course, this has worked out very well for Fnatic Rising in that second game, which was that most dominant game of the day.
Yeah, I mean, they locked the Trundle first last time, they do it again this time. Is this a bit of a run back aside from the Aphelios just being picked up?
Well, it's not a run back at that point. It's
it was amazing. More or less speaking about it, they locked in the Aphelios.
I mean, they could go for something like the Thresh and then another, like a mobile hypercarry, like your Chinks maybe. But again, I don't know if that's quite the same. And they are going to have to pick up the Thresh here. It's going to go alongside the Ashe, which is interesting. First time we're seeing that one today. And it gives a lot of utility to this Fnatic Rising comp already.
This is Season 6 vibes, baby. Season 6 Worlds. Because remember when it's like, oh man, these long-range hypercarries like Caitlyn. Well, yeah, you just lock in something like an Ashe and the volley just stops you from having a fun time. You don't really enjoy that at that point. And again, you take away the Thresh. I actually think that something like a Blitzcrank, if you got the cojones for it, could work out. Sitting Duck AD carry, not going to go for the offensive option though. Going to be more on that peel back, but this time you are slightly outranged. Again, it's not the Jinx. It has more lane pressure as well, though. Does the Ashe over the Jinx early on. Loving the adaptations.
It's stuff we've seen quite a lot, though, right? So it's not a case of going for something super wild. The Ashe is a little bit different because we haven't seen that one today, but Tricks have gone for stuff that they know and love. And again, the Tahm Kench could technically flex up into the top side, but we've seen Lucky on it twice. The Lee Sin could flex into a third lane, but we've seen Taxer on it twice. So we'll have to see what's going to be taken away with the bans, and as you're not going to be on the Twist Fate this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you've it might not be Aphelios, but Ashe is almost more set up for a dive bot side, because the moment you hit 6, the CC chains between a Thresh, an Ashe with Enchanted Crystalline Arrow, and a Trundle there with the Pillar is pretty insane. You've already got the makings of a great pick comp from Fnatic. Add in the side of a Twisted Fate for Deja, and it gets even harder to play those side lanes. So I think that's probably a sensible ban. You are still looking for a mid laner that can come get out of lane, though, I think, if you're Fnatic Rising, because you do want to continue to look towards that kind of pick options you've got there.
So now I'm looking at Fnatic Rising, like, okay, you have the potential of a really strong level 6 slow push into Crash Dive, even against the Aphelios and the Tahm Kench, because you can volley the Aphelios off the wave. Tahm Kench can walk up and do some damage early on. But if Fnatic Rising do have that winning mid jungle TV2, maybe they can set up for that again. Last time, of course, they locked in the Twisted Fate. That's not going to be available this time. Can they have something that can roam down a bit more organically rather than through their ultimate and enable this bot lane to succeed like they did the last time?
Ooh, the cannon being locked in here for Trick. They want to get that big team fight engaged, and if you want to be locking people down for long periods of time, there aren't that many better options. It's slightly flexible. You've got to imagine this is probably going to be a madly pick in the top side.
Surely, unless there's some absolute madness going on. It's been a while since I've thought about something like Kennen mid. It would be an unusual
The last time I saw Kennen
know.
mid was in solo queue in Season 8.
That was about right. That feels about right. Okay, well, more of that pick option then with the Camille locked in. So, like, again, it's just lots of pick, and then if you lock in a roaming mid here, Trundle and mid laner can roam to either side lane and try and find something like Rising.
You can go
You
Galio,
do have a Tahm Kench to try and devour whoever gets picked first, either out of a Hextech Ultimatum or an Enchanted Crystalline Arrow, but it's not just one or the other, it's both, and that could get a bit scary.
Okay, so not going for the Galio. I mean,
no, that's true.
I think the Galio would have been nice because again, you have like the AOE magic damage shield that can counteract what the cannon wants to do. You've already got the Camille getting on top of the Aphelios. It's an extra amount of damage to make sure the Aphelios just can't auto attack. I mean, we saw that back in the first series of the day. You just CC lock them to the point where it doesn't matter what weapons they have, they don't get to do damage after that point. So now you've locked in the Rise. That's going to be a counter pick mid for the side of Tricks. Locking that Tristana. This has been something which we've seen for an entire year at this point. One of my favorite VCS players picks this pretty much every time Rise shows his face. And it's going to be a choice matchup for Tricks, and it is an AD mid.
Yeah, that's something that we know that Paulson loves to play, so this is giving him a slight buff. You know how it is, and the damage coming through from Trick's lineup is super, super mad. You've got the Kennen who's going to be doing a ton of damage with those ultimates. Lee Sin, Tristana, and Aphelios are all going to be putting out tons of damage. Initialized, do Fnatic Rising have what it takes to weather the storm?
It's another one of those games where, like, Fnatic Rising have all the tools in the world they want to dive here on either side lane. Tricked Esports, though, they've got potentially a slightly better way to kite back this time, actually, because you've got the Kennen. If you jump in, you can throw down the Slicing Maelstrom. You've got the kick out, you've got a Buster Shot, you've got a Tahm Kench. There are some ways to play against the dive, but if they find themselves outnumbered in side lanes time and time again, they could get snowballed on really.
How do you ever get in? You get volleyed, you get pillared, you get boxed, you get hooked. That's it. You don't get it.
You're trying to
very difficult
dive rather than go in yourself.
Very difficult for Trick to actually have a front foot fight.
Well, we're going to have to see if they can manage to do so, and if not, is there a way for Trick to win this game? We're going to hand over for the last time to our amazing casters. Hipper and Hawks, take it away.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much, guys. We're getting ready to go into our final game of the day. And remember, winner of this goes through to the European Masters at the minimum into the play-in stage. And they, more importantly, qualify for our grand finals. The loser has to go into the loser bracket finals and play versus Team Singularity. So one more best of 3, a little less time to sit back and prep going in towards those finals. Orcs, we're into the final game. Who do you think has got the edge here?
I honestly think it's pretty hard to call. I think there's elements of both compositions I kind of like. I think the Camille comes in really well here, combined with the Rise, you have a strong 1-3-1. I like the Trundle Ashe Thresh as a duo for finding picks for peeling back. But then again, Trick, they have the Kennen, they have a lot of team fight potential on that. They got 2 really strong backline carries, Ford and Voxen and Paulson. I'm giving the edge to Fnatic Rising here, but I think it's a close one, honestly.
I completely agree with you. I think it is going to be a pretty close one. I think it might be a little bit of a bloodbath as these teams fight tooth and nail for that final, well, for that first spot.
Also, quick mention is that the loser of this will play Singularity in a best of 5, not a best of 3.
Oh, it's a best of 5. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so that's actually a bit of a game changer because that's a whole of an extra game you have to win. It's a longer series, and I think it's the 3rd and the 9th for our finals. So you do get, a bit of time between those games. It's not like you go back to back day to day. Or it might be the 8th. I can see my admin's typing right now, so he will update me on the finals day. It is the Sunday, yeah, because we got the 3rd, which is this coming Tuesday is our lower bracket final, and then Sunday is the grand final.
I know numbers are hard for you, but come on. Bring it in. Bring it in.
There we go. Trick to bringing it in. They're bringing 5 people into the face of what?
That ward. That ward. That is a high value ward right now. As Maxi was resetting, places it down, and now they know exactly where they are.
Question is do Trick hang around? The answer is no.
Yeah, I think they were trying to look for a cheesy pick off the level 1. I'm not sure they'll hang around for the blue buff. They may do. If they go for a map split, they can potentially really shut down Pride in this top side. Maxi's going to approach carefully, but he could get just picked off here if he goes for this one. They need all 3 members to come in to assist him on this.
He's going to play it slow. Maybe wait and see if they start it up. Pride's coming in. Pride has that ward, but this is so risky. He blind checks. Remember, he doesn't have flash, so Pride is dead. First blood for Paulson.
Just ward over the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it works for Trick. Somehow you have complete vision of them going into your topside jungle and you still die to it, but you know, I relent. It's obviously going to set Pride behind a little bit. Going to be a bit later lane as well on top of that, and also slows down Maxi's jungle clear. So a massive advantage gain level 1 for Trick.
Been getting heavily chunked out here, and he's had to go through the alcove as Lucky's chasing him down. Heel's been burned, and now Lucky's in a bit of an interesting spot. The ignite onto Rux, and Demvoxy flashes forward to pick up the kill. They don't have the minion damage to stick, so it's a little bit of poke on to Demvoxy and Lucky, but a kill for both Poulsen and Demvoxy. I'm getting some flashbacks to the first game.
You couldn't make it better for Trick. 1,000 gold lead already on the back of that. And again, you can't check Tahm Kench level 1. You cannot. He's so strong. Throwing those Qs down. You can see Rux oversteps, has the Guardian, not the Aftershock, and just the Q lands, the slow comes in, and Demvoxy is just consistently getting these auto attacks off. Rux has already taken a ton of damage, and then Lucky's just able to auto, Q auto, ignite, and the finish off from Demvoxy. Disrespectful play coming out from Fnatic Rising, trying to establish themselves in lane. And now both the top lane and, I mean, every lane's kind of a bit behind now.
Yeah, this is pretty rough right now for them. You got forced yes onto Pride as well, who's being harassed underneath his tower.
And
Poulsen,
I will say, mid lane, not a fun matchup for the most part, right? Poulsen can just jump in on you, fully stack the explosive charge, chunk you out, and jump out. And there's very little Ryze can actually do to mitigate that.
And I mean, Ryze doesn't have flash either, so Dajor. I think it's Dajor. Anyway, hook's gonna land. Lucky has to run away as they are getting the arrows off. One more round and a volley should do it. The heals come in. Bean, can he find the volley? No, he can't. As they've locked everyone else down, they've got the Graviton. Rux has to be oh so careful. Q comes in from Maxi, and it looks like actually Taxon might be feeling this. The hook goes through the goalposts, and Calibrum lands. They've got the Graviton once again. Maxi has to be careful. Poulsen not gonna do any more jumping in here. And Fnatic gonna get away a little bit of murder there, if I'm gonna be honest with you, Orcs.
Yeah, very messy skirmish, and I felt like Fnatic should have been able to pick up a kill there, but Tricked able to ward them off. And it's frustrating, you know, you're in the game 3 of the series. Winning this series takes you to EU Masters guaranteed. Losing puts you against Singularity in the best of 5, and it just feels like everything's going wrong for Fnatic Rising. Every play that Tricked have made so far in 4 minutes has gone right, and Fnatic just aren't able to find a way back into the bot lane.
Yeah, and the big thing as well is Fnatic, they want to re-qualify for EU Masters. Of course they do, everyone does, but they want it a little bit more because the last time they went to EU Masters in spring, it was incredibly disappointing. It was a poor showing for Fnatic, so they need to try and reclaim some of that pride there. And they are struggling to make it right now.
They have pride in the top lane. So,
yeah,
you know,
true.
They've got that.
They've got that pride, but they need the team pride, don't they?
Team pride.
The honor.
Absolutely. And I mean, as well, thinking about the Summit EU Masters sets up so many opportunities going into next year. Chances to look for windows to move on to... Yeah, I mean, potentially can just be different teams, but also into the LEC. That's the big one. And making a statement like that can be really vital. Now, we see Taxa putting some attention top. Pride's wave's in a bit of a rough spot. It is going to push in. And they're bringing 3 members here. It is a Camille who has a decent escape, but no flash. And looks like they're not going to opt to go for that play. Pings were coming out. They had sort of seen Pulsar moving, but even so, Pride now forced to recall and then TP back in as the only real way you can contest that wave.
It feels like it's taking a little bit of a chiller pace now.
He's going to fall really far behind in farm then if he's not TPing, because Madly can just keep this wave in front of the tower.
Yeah, that's really weird. Oh, hold on, Dejor getting jumped onto. Poulsen. There's that trade you were talking about. I think Dejor does... Is it Dejor?
You know what? Go with what your heart tells you.
Phonetically, I guess it's Dajor. We'll ask him. We'll ask him at some point. Demvoxy getting jumped onto there. Ignite's gone down. He is burning low. The Abyssal Voyage. Gonna knock a couple of members up, but that might just be another one for Fnatic.
It's more like it.
2 kills in the mid lane. That's one dead de jour.
Yeah, he gets taken down. Again, it's the power of this Trist. Backed up by the Lee Sin. Pretty easy to pick up Ryze in that situation. But finally, Fnatic get their successful play. You know, they finally engaged in Demvoxy. Obviously, the Tom doesn't offer nearly as much peel as old Tom. You can't just eat up their Felios and pull them away. And that's the big difference in the safety in this lane. They not only get the Vox Day, but because Lucky tries to go in with a W to try and save him, he also ends up going down. And a pretty nice swing in the favor of Fnatic Rising's bot lane.
And again, first dragon is that Cloud Drake, which is wonderful for the fact that we won't be seeing another Cloud Soul. The Fnatic and Tricked have been lucky in that regards, where the dragons have actually been a little bit more impactful than our first series. They shut the wave in. It looks like for now, though, they're not really fast either team about trying to pick up these dragons. Fnatic had a very early soul in game number 2. That was a big part of what kind of just made that game unplayable for Tricked, to be completely fair.
Yeah, I mean, securing the early dragons, especially when you feel comfortable going into the team fights, it puts a massive burden on the enemy team to be able to contest you on those. You mess up one fight, suddenly they're on soul point, and then, again, the pressure's even higher. You have to be able to win that next fight for the Dragon Soul, or you end up in a pretty significant disadvantage. And, you know, for the time being, neither team seems too inclined to lean towards it. Herald will be spawning soon, and we could see teams opting towards that. Haxter is pathing towards his topside camps, so he's in a better position to act on that, especially as Madly has prior top lane, and Paulson could very easily find it mid lane.
Yeah, he's at that point where, you know, this lane is a lot easier for Paulson just to be able to gain that instant priority. DeJour doesn't really have, you know, we're not at that rise point yet where waves do just liquefy to him. Does still do a pretty good job of cutting them through. So it's not the end of the world. And it looks like we are seeing a Riftail getting started up by Taxa.
I think the big point is him having lost chapter and tier means he has the mana pool to kind of spam through the waves, even if he doesn't kill them as quickly as he does. But yeah, I mean, this is just Taxa taking this window when he's pathed up to the top side. He has the lanes who can assist, so it's a very easy Herald take. And the question is, what will Fnatic Rising do in response? Because they could look to threaten a dive here. No, he is level 6, but it will ward him away.
Maxi heavily chunked out. Can't really do too much about that. And Paulson might be looking for Maxi. Maxi has to be very careful. They're still looking for the dive. Spots him out. They get the Ashar off into the hook. A bunch of damage to Lanterns in a curious situation as they bring the Realm Warp in and now trying to bounce it around. Paulson just busts the shots back, and here's Madly with a slicing Maelstrom. They lock him in with a Hextech Ultimatum, and Fnatic, just like that, pick up a double kill. Demvoxney has a lot of chakrams, and the wave has been cut down very, very thin, but the next wave going to make its way forward, and Fnatic going to take their time here, wait for that turret to time out. Pillars down, plates are on, Demvoxney out of mana, and he is going to be going down. Lucky is the only one left standing who's locked in place, and he is hook-shotted onto Fnatic find 4. They do lose Bean, but Lucky's the one to get the kill credit. So Fnatic overall going to be very, very happy with that sequence of plays.
Yeah, they lose that bot lane in the extended play, but they deny a ton of farm. They get plates, and they absolutely slam on Tricked on the bot side. Taxa went top to take the Herald, and sure, he gets it, but Fnatic take this window to punish. And I think, you know, it's a bit messy at first. I'm not going to deny that. Initially, Maxi is very split from Fnatic Rising, and we see moments like this. So DeJour Realm Orbs in, and then opts not to go for Paulson, and then gets ulted under the tower. Madly comes in with a beautiful ultimate, but it's not enough. It's still a numbers advantage. There's not enough damage from the cannon, and I love this moment from Fnatic Rising, where they take a second to reassess, to use the incoming minion wave to reestablish this dive, and end up getting the last 2 kills. The pillar comes out, and then we have DeJour quickly getting the aggro. It swaps over to Pride. They drop it again, and they once more re-establish that dive. And it's just really good tower aggro juggling. Could have been a bit better if Bean recognized he was grabbing aggro at the end. But either way, they come out with a big lead on the back of that.
So they are thinking about bringing Maxi in here as well. See if they actually decide to go for that or not. As Bean
a lot harder now with Lucky having level 6, and Taxa, he's just still going for sort of PvE mission, killing the dragon now. Bear in mind,
Lantern, can they get a good pillar? They can, they've got the box. Lucky will spit Demvoxney out, but the hook from Rux into the pillar again. Oh, beautiful from Fnatic. They flawlessly execute on that dive. And sure, they lose their mid lane tower, but bot lane is problematic right now. And this is my big criticism of them in game number 1. was they didn't pick on Denvoxy enough and they gave him the freedom. Fnatic trying to stick around for this tower, but Rux is aware of what's going on. He's seen them. He's got the Lantern, and Bean will spot them out. The slow comes in, the Lantern goes down, and Maxi might be the sacrificial lamb, although he actually looks to turn it around, and they find a great hook out onto Taxa. Poulsen jumps in, the Buster Shot comes down, and Maxi will lose his life. Poulsen has those resets, and he's making them work. Bean slowed down, Lucky flashes forward, looking to find the shutdown as Poulsen cashes in, but here comes Dejor. Not going to go for it, though. He'll get the Lantern out to safety and just pick up the wave.
And honestly, it's actually the wrong decision to Lantern the Ashe there, because Trundle is the one with the shutdown. 700 gold secured from killing him. Unfortunately, that went to Lucky, actually, so not the person you want secure in that. Either way, we see Tricked move down to punish. Fnatic getting a little bit greedy, trying to finish off those plates in the bot lane tower. And we now see Dejo's going to be in the bot lane, and we have Bean and Rux moving up towards mid. I think you kind of saw the difference, though, when there is that ult from the Tahm Kench available. It is a bit harder to find that pressure, but still, Fnatic been doing a great job of setting up for plays on this bot side, but are still down in gold thanks to that Herald usage mid.
Also might look for a assassination off here. Mid laner versus mid laner. Gonna jump out. Dejor's exhausted. He's got the Realm Walk. There is no Buster Shot. He honestly was pretty close to turning that. I think the mana pool was the big issue for him.
I think he actually would have won that, but he was scared of assistance coming in. And speaking of assistance,
yeah, there's two fights happening at once. There's Pride losing one, but Maxi winning the other. Goes in the hook shot into the stun. Can Pride get that last auto attack off? Yes, he can. Pillar lands onto Taxa. Taxa kind of got everything on cooldown. And bop goes Maxi. Bop goes the 2 kills in the top lane. And Dejor teleported himself back up here. But Poulsen able to run away. They're bringing people in. And Bean, if he can land this arrow, that could be a little bit scary for Poulsen. Just going to take the tower. Just going to be happy with that.
But this is a significant lead for Fnatic Rising. Again, there's that global gold from taking that first tower. There's the local gold that Poulsen was able to get. But, I mean, it's just so much strength on the top side of the map. And we see this engage coming in. The Eat, obviously, a big factor in staying alive. But the hook from Rux is great on Denvoxy to pull him back in. And at this point, it's a Divine Sundra Trundle 11 minutes in the game. He's just doing so much damage. And here, I actually think Maxi should have taken this, by the way. And I think they should have just pieced it. And they keep this 700 gold bounty. They let Bean die. It's whatever. But instead, they try and commit to the play. We see Maxi go down. We see Bean then follow. And the only sort of consolation is that it was Lucky who got that massive shutdown on the Trundle. And then this is that top lane play. And this is just the goal lead for Maxi being a bit too much. And also just madly not even being able to win out in the extended trade.
And ultimately, it is going to be Fnatic who are now up 1,400 gold. Dragon not spawning up quite yet, although we don't actually have the timer on our screen. So thank you. There we go. 1 minute 30 till that comes up. So may see Fnatic look to try and lean towards this, but for now I think the attention is just going to be on this mid lane as Denvoxy going to receive a whole lot of hurt as great gobble up by Lucky to dodge out on the hook.
That's a long cooldown.
It is a long cooldown. It is burnt at a pretty rough time for them.
Yeah, doesn't have that extra level of safety for the Voxney, and Fnatic just going to move onto this Herald and take it pretty much uncontested, you have to feel. See that Fnatic Tricked are leaning towards that bot side, setting up for the Dragon. This would be their second. And with it going to be a Mountain or a Infernal, both solid options for the team. But I imagine after this Herald goes down, we'll see Fnatic pushing. But actually, Arrow comes in. This is flash burn from Denvoxney. Makes this Dragon fight look even more difficult. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow unlikely to be up for them. But again, this makes Denvoxney's life way more difficult when it comes to these team fights.
It really, really does. Now, with that flash down and with the Dragon spawning, I just think the best play that Trick can do right now is just give over this Dragon. Just give it over to Fnatic. It's only one Ocean Drake. They got the first Dragon, so it's not an early soul like it was in the last game. It's going to be a very slow soul, but it will either be that Mountain or that Infernal, which could be a little bit scary. Either one, to be honest.
Yeah, either would definitely cause problems. And they're going to use the Herald mid to secure that priority. Trick have sort of moved up to applying that pressure top, but they have to respond to this. If they don't, we could very easily see 2 towers taken mid. So we'll push in. We see Pride pushing the bot lane. We see on the opposite side, Poulsen going to take that top lane tier 1. But overall, Fnatic are the ones with a deeper control of the map mid. They'll have that deep vision, and they're looking towards picking up this Dragon with very little contest, you have to feel, from Trick. They're going to stop Pride from taking this tier 2 for now, though.
They are indeed. As Pride actually slicing Maelstrom onto great hook shot to get away to safety. But he is caught out with the stun. The flashes come over. The kick goes wide from Taxa. Maxi's coming in. Puts the pillar down. But there's the kick. There's Madly's kill. A lot committed. But Paulson on the other side of the map is going to do a bunch of damage to this tower. And Fnatic just didn't commit for the dragon.
Yeah, and Pride just overstaying for no reason. You know, you're not taking the tower there. You know they're moving to defend. You just have to back away. But instead, he gets greedy, looking for that extra gold from the tier 2 in the side lanes. And he ends up getting punished. And this costs Fnatic that dragon. So giving Trick a bit of an extra win con in this game.
And there it goes. The dragon will fall and the Infernal Soul will take to the Rift.
Pretty good one.
Fnatic.
Yeah.
In a pretty okay spot if they can pick that one up. But the fact that this has to be 4 dragons back-to-back for them. I'm genuinely curious on why they decided to overextend bot lane instead of go for the dragon.
I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, and I don't know what Beam was doing there with his fork shot. He was checking if there was a Teemo hidden there, you know, even though obviously he doesn't reveal invisibility, but, you know, he had a hunch.
That's the obvious thing, is it? Yeah, not the fact that Teemo's not in the game.
You never know, dude. You never know.
I mean, technically, Teemo used to be in every game. For those of you who don't know how it works, I might have said this all night already, but...
You've said this so
many times. The old Spectator was an invulnerable Teemo. He sat on the fountain. There used to always be a Teemo.
Fun facts with Jake. Now, looks like Fnatic trying to move into this bot side to cover Pride, but Engage comes in.
Oh, they're jumping in. Here's the arrow. Does land into the hook, and Rux is going to take it as well. The blast cone to safety as the teleports are coming in, and this could just be a little bit scary. Pride jumps in back onto Paulson. Paulson able to get it. There's the slicing Maelstrom, and oh my lord! Dejour's unloading, though, with these overloads. Denvox is trying to get a bit of additional damage off, and Dejour pumping and dumping the damage into Tricked, but at the end of the day, Fnatic end out losing the member and end out losing the fight.
Just a bit of a scrappy one, and again, these jungle fights aren't really that good for Fnatic Rising. So much value after slicing Maelstrom in that situation, and they couldn't get on top of Denvox Knight or challenges of Aphelios. He has the Gale Force, he had the Peel, he was in a pretty easy spot to get to be a damage threat, and as a result, Fnatic Rising could not push forward. So it's not the best arrangement for them to look for in this game. Still neck and neck. It's only really the dragon advantage for Trick putting it in their favor. I will say though, one thing that is a bit misleading is actually if you toggle the gold, gold's dead even, right, between teams. Yeah. But if we actually look at the individual numbers, well, I mean, we'll have to hold
on to the replay first. We'll do the replay first.
Yeah, we'll do the replay first. So we see Pride get knocked away. The ult comes in, but Tax is a bit too tanky to burst off the back of this. And this is when we start to see Trick Blast. And it's not a great position for Fnatic Rising to be taking a fight because Madly gets so much value from this slicing Maelstrom with everyone grouped up. And Dejour isn't quite doing enough damage to shred through everyone. And Denvox Knight, again, look at him. He's just untouched at this point. Starts to push forward. Fnatic know they have to back away as a result. But yeah, if you look at the gold between players, we'll see even though, you know, Fnac's slightly ahead overall, there's 1,100 gold difference between supports because Lucky picked up the shutdown on a Maxi earlier. So although the gold is quite close, I don't really count that gold lead between supports as that valuable. You know, there's 1,000 gold lead between 80 carries, 800 gold lead between junglers. Only really Paulson who has a big lead on the side of Fnatic, and we do see that a massive amount of farm from Dejour is putting him in a comfortable spot.
Well, for now, Fnatic trying to push up a little bit here, but not going to be able to do so. 20 minutes on the clock. Dragon spawning in 1 minute 30, and Fnatic are just getting some vision control in the area there.
They don't want to lose this one.
They don't want to lose this one. They lost the last one, which I don't think was absolutely necessary, but, you know, at the end of the day, they didn't go for it. So they are going to take this, and this tower is going to yield them a whole bunch of gold as well as Pillar goes down onto Paulson just to threaten him, just to scare him a wee bit. Although Trick still had those teamfight tools, we've seen a fair few decent slicing Maelstroms coming out from Madly, so...
And I think that's the critical thing, is if you could find backline access with Madly, if he has the Zhonya's in hand, he can obviously do so much work in these team fights. But that's the critical thing. He doesn't have TP here. He doesn't have Zhonya's available. His stopwatch has been used. And it makes the approach a lot more difficult. And the thing is, if you're not getting value from Madly, one of the issues is that you look at the itemization of Fnatic Rising. Ninja Tabi, Ninja Tabi, Ninja Tabi. We have a Randuin's on Maxi already. A lot of bulkiness on these members of Fnatic Rising against AD damage, and Madly is that only AP source. So if he's not able to find value, the team may well struggle. And Pride looking for this with the Rise backup.
Yeah, they're jumping in. Everybody's been pulled in. Madly, I hate to break it to you, mate, but you're going down. Dejo able to get the kill.
And now they have to sort of move down and see if they want to consider the Baron as an option. Dragon's up in 12. So if they want to make it for that, they have to be quick.
I don't think they're actually going to do the Baron. I think they'd rather try and maybe find an extra pick and turn it into this Dragon. Watch for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Denvoxy slowed down. They actually throw it out onto Lucky. Denvoxy's being routed away from his team, and they're just going to focus the Catfish. He's forced to flash away. Pride's jumped in. Moonlight Vigil over the wall. Only hits onto Pride. Does take a whole bunch of damage, though, and that's now their top laner. Low HP, but still got teleport. Madly spawning up in a few seconds. His teleport coming up even sooner. But
no
big thing to note is Madly ulted kind of out of desperation, and he doesn't have this for this fight, and that's kind of like the big thing he needs here to be able to contest this Dragon, to be able to team fighters. Look at Pride on the flank. He's looking for an opportunity to one-shot Pulse on Denvoxy.
Oh, not again.
Once again, it is just not Madly's game. Taxa's limited kill onto Pride. Pride gets Buster shot back, and so far support for top laner as Pride will lose his life. Madly gets his speed up and speed out, but Sonic the Hedgehog can't run that quick. He's not going to have to run away from the pain coming in from Fnatic. The hook goes a little bit wide. There's a lot of damage coming out from Denvoxy. It's actually Dejour may just get popped, and there's going to be enough to find the kill. Fnatic are crumbling. They're starting to lose this fight. It's gone from good to bad. How? How did Trix win that?
Denvoxy is untouched. I mean, they just don't even do anything to challenge him. And because he's able to survive, he's such a massive threat in these fights. They can't step up to him. And they're now going to lose that third Dragon. Trix managed to wrangle that one despite losing that initial member.
I am flabbergasted. We need to look at the replay. We need to see the replay.
Yeah, so essentially, I mean, they managed to kill Madly almost straight away. And we see at the back end, Pride trying to take down Pulse and doing a lot of damage to him. But while they're taking down Madly, Denvoxy is just doing a fair bit of damage here. You know, you see the shields come in to try and mitigate a bunch of it. But Denvoxy's still full HP. And they try and push in, but, you know, the focus is very split. And Denvoxy still full HP, still feeding in this situation. And they just don't respect the Aphelios. If you run into him, he loves those scenarios. And as a result, instead of turning towards the Baron and letting Trix push into them, they overcommit and get punished for it.
I'm gobsmacked, if I'm honest with you, Orcs. Actually gobsmacked off the back of that one.
They didn't need to push for the kills. They should have just gone back to Dragon. They could have healed off it, because obviously they have like Shield Bow on Bean. You have a lot of sustain between Maxi, the Divine Sundra. They could have gone for that play, get back up to full HP, and then if Trick try and contest them, that's when they look for the play. But instead, running into Denvoxy doesn't work. Especially not from one direction, because he will just use his Runans and shred you.
Crazy thing is Fnatic had the option to go for Baron instead of Dragon there, but they decided Dragon was the optimal play, and I honestly agree with them, but the team fight was just sloppy.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like, I mean, the initial fight, taking out Madly's fine. You also chunked Paulson, but yeah, they are looking for this play. They're TPing to commit. Madly no TP, but just have a bit of time to get over here.
It's going fairly quickly, but it's not amazingly quickly, especially when Max is getting knocked up by the Baron. They're looking for the Ash Arrow, does hit, but Lucky instantly goes in for the Gobble. Dejour comes in, gets that Overload, gets the Everfrost, the hook is on, and Taxa gets a massive shield. The kick comes out from Taxa, breaking the Hextech ultimatum. And the Chakrams are charged up. Baron dissuaded. Fnatic gain nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they get the arrow on the Denvoxy. He's instantly eaten by the Tahm Kench, and it's like, okay, ult for ult. Let's just disengage. And again, Fnatic Rising can't find the angle to get in the fight. They try and focus down Taxa, eliminate the smite, but they aren't able to do so. And critically, Madly still retains his ultimate. The Slicing Maelstrom is there for any ensuing fight that comes now. Fnatic trying to push back on the map. And once again, it looks like they want to play around Baron. And the critical thing here is if you're playing around Baron, there's no chance of, like, you know, 50-50 giving the other team Elders Infernal Soul. That's what they're scared about. If they start fighting around Dragon and they mess up, you know, a smite comes in from Taxa, you are dealing with Infernal Soul for the rest of the game, and that is not a fun time.
No, definitely not. Especially when, you know, Denvoxny, who was honestly put behind, is now back in the game. He is now completely relevant. You see the gold difference. It's a 1,000 gold difference between him and Bean, but I feel like Denvoxny is actually having more impact. The Ash Arrow kind of just shut down by the Gobble. So you see the ones that have worked have been onto Lucky, and sure, they kill Lucky, but then Denvoxny just kills their team. It's so hard to find the optimal targets here, and it's really on Pride to be able to kind of take Denvoxny out of the fight, but I just don't think Pride actually can tank Denvoxny long enough. Although there is a Gale Force picked up onto Denvoxny, so it's not the shield bow. He's a little less tanky, is a little easier to kill, and Gale Force doesn't break you out the Hextech Ultimatum at all.
I just feel like if you're able to find a flank angle, great. But again, Pride's not that strong right now. Can't just blow up Denvoxny. And most times when he's looked for that flank, Trick have just turned onto him, especially Pulse and Tristana can just jump on him and just solo him out. 3 items now with a stopwatch as well, has exhaust in hand. Very easy to do. See what happens. It's now a minute till that dragon, and that's going to be the next scene for the fight. Obviously, if Trick secure this soul, it's pretty punishing for the side of Fnatic Rising. Trying to get set up and find a position here. Both top laners with TP just pushing the top side. And Denvoxny is the focal point of these fights. Watching what he can do on this Aphelios. Obviously, Paulson's doing a ton of damage, but it feels like if Denvoxny goes unchecked, very hard for Fnatic to win.
Hurricane Gale Force means the AoE damage, especially when he's got that Infernum, it's gonna hurt. He's gonna be able to do so much for the team, and Lucky always just close enough that he can flash gobble him if worse comes to worse. I just don't know what Fnatic can do other than potentially try and burn the gobble, but with the Ash Arrow going wide, that's now on cooldown 10 seconds before the dragon spawns up, and that Slicing Maelstrom available. Pride making his way up to the top lane with teleport available. Fnatic have a couple of wards to work with, and Pride should just be able to take this one down, but here come the Yordles waddling their way up towards the team fight. The vision is disappearing right now. Fnatic, they may just give this up, or they may just sacrifice Maxi for it. He's going to try and go in for the smite, but the Buster Shot will stop him. The Lantern was thrown down. There was a game plan, and it was shut down by the side of Tricks. And Pride, it's a Camille. They're great at taking towers, but you don't have the wave set up for it. They weren't ready to go for this play, and the resets are coming in. So best case scenario, Pride's going to get a little bit of damage onto this tower, but that is it.
Yeah, I mean, the critical thing is that they trade 1 to 2 for Infernal Soul. The rest of the game, you know, this is your chance to secure EU Masters, and for the rest of the game, the enemy team has Infernal Soul. The gold is close between them, but it's such a massive advantage for the side of Trick, especially for champions like Kennen, given that extra burst. Pride's able to walk this one out, but it's still not the ideal scenario for Fnatic Rising. You could tell they felt like there wasn't an approach to the fight in which they'd win. They were really tentative with walking in, and the eventual angle was just Maxi trying to go for the steal.
Yeah, I mean, when your win con on a fight is smiting away soul in a steal, is you know you're in trouble.
Go for the back door.
Look at that tongue lash. They are looking for the back door, though. Once again, this could just be that game plan. Maxi is going to lose his life. The Lantern comes in, and Maxi survives. Somehow, they've held on. The tower will go down. You're on Pride are going to be able to do a fair amount about that, and the double resets are coming in, so this could be that opportunity, although Pulse is coming in onto the backline, looking for the assassination. He's been spotted. Baron is low. Inhibitor also will be going down. They've got that wave to work with. They're trying to stop it. Fnatic once again, putting all of their hopes, all of their dreams in the back door. They stopped the resets. The resets have been stopped, and Paulson is able to run them through. They're trying to teleport back out. They're going to get the teleports. Maxi's trying to find the interrupts. He can't get the pillar down. They're looking for Madly. Madly's cut through the wave, and now it's gonna be the end of Pride. It's gonna be the end of Fnatic in this series. Ace for Tricks, and again the backdoor fails for Fnatic Rising. It has just gone horrifically bad for them in this series.
It just feels like Fnatic lose confidence in their ability to take team fights. And game 1, I completely agreed. I was like, you're not gonna win this fight. Definitely worth going for this backdoor option. You're too far behind. But you're in game 3, you're ending up in another situation like that, and you're going for these desperation plays, and it just feels very simple for Trick to answer. I mean, how are you supposed to deal with Madly here? He has Slicing Maelstrom, he has Zhonya's. It's such a hard dive, and he can just shred the minions as well. And we see here, Trick, they know that they're trying to be interrupted here. They easily jump in. Paulson's going for the reset. Honestly, even if he didn't get it, look at what happens here. Slicing Maelstrom, Has the Zonyas as well if he needs it, but actually doesn't in the end. And Pride just ends up going down as well. It's just desperation for Fnatic Rising. And I feel like there's a lot of mismanagement, but also this Rise pick has been a plague on this series. It just hasn't worked for either team because every time it's playing into like something like an Aphelios who just shreds you if you walk up. It just has been so useless.
It is a very bizarre pick to me, to be honest. Now, the one thing they have is they did take that inhibitor. So if they can somehow get a wave close enough to realm warp in, maybe a desperation backdoor this time might work. But
problem is, Baron
how are you going to
Trick
get away
means,
close enough?
Yeah, and also Baron on Trick means they have fast recall.
Wait, are they actually doing this again? They're actually trying to go topside now.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Pulse and recalls.
Yeah.
Baron recall is back in 2 seconds. Now it's Madly Impulse and defend. Madly has Zonyas and Slice and Maelstrom. They cannot dive him. And the rest of Trick will just continue to push. They have complete faith in their solo laners.
Fnatic are going to hang around for this, though. This tower going pretty low. Look at Paulson waiting in fog of war. I think the information has been exchanged, though, but Fnatic don't know where Paulson is, so they are just going to call it there. No inhibitors go down. No inhibitor towers go down for Fnatic off the back of that Baron Siege. So there is a silver lining right now. And they were able to do a fair amount of damage to that top lane tower. They've also got an open inhibitor in the bot lane as well. So there are little things that Fnatic can go from. It's not like that getting aced in the base again lost them the game. It has just put them in, again, a horrible position. Fnatic, it's not even an uphill climb. They are rock climbing up a sheer wall right now to win this.
And the thing is, we're looking towards that Elder Dragon in a minute and a half. You now have a 5k gold deficit. Big items coming in for the start of Trick. We've got Stopwatch on Paulson and Demvoxne. Infernal Soul in pocket as well. This is a very hard fight for Fnatic to win. And the thing is, I don't think they have a great option just to avoid it. You know, they might try and go for that backdoor once again. But assuming Madly's sitting there defending, assuming Paulson's fast on the recall, they should be able to defend up the back of this.
And you can see constantly it's the Jor and Pride, but this time they're not revealing both of them. But I have questions about this for Fnatic. This is a scary form to be on here in playoffs.
It comes down to this 2v2. Madly should not approach in this situation. If he gets caught out outside the turret, that's where Fnatic can come out ahead. Just clear the wave, clear the wave, clear the wave.
They did see him, but Elder spawning up in 30 seconds. If Fnatic even risk this, I think they could just lose the game. But they actually have that realm warp, and they are maybe just waiting for the waves to realm warp in. They could lose the game.
They could win the game.
Honestly, I think we might come down to a base flip again. Like, I actually think this game's coming down to a base flip.
I guess we got to see. I guess we got to see how it pans out. Again, Paulson and Madly are hanging there. And the thing is, the problem here is I could see Trick just 3-man the Elder, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They win that 3-man, and Paulson and Madly just play base defense, right? I think they actually should start it up here. They can see both Pride and Dejor. They have their 2 solo laners. Just do the Elder Dragon. I'm not going to come in, but...
They're actually doing it!
What?
But Pride wasn't in! What? Okay. I mean, I am gobsmacked. They're teleporting in the Camille. The Ash Arrow hits, but Lucky gets the gobble off. There's the ulti from Demvoxne. The Flay's coming in. They have to win this fight before the teleport completes because Madly has got that Slicing Maelstrom on cooldowns. It's not available.
They could win this.
Over the wall for the moment, trying to fight, trying to find the kill. They are doing a lot of damage, but Paulson's coming in to tidy this one up. Taxa got the Guardian Angel, and the Infernal Soul doing way too much. Fnatic are wiped. What the hell were they doing in the top lane?
I have no idea. I have no analysis for that situation. But either way, we see Fnatic Rising. It's actually an okay start to the fight. They take down Demvoxne. It looks like it could be going in their favor until Paulson arrives. And that is the critical thing here. With this, it will be Trick's end of the game on the series. It's only Dejor to defend. I just don't think it's possible for him to do so. Paulson has exhaust. He can just jump on him.
It's the one thing they don't have Elder. This is their only hope. He flashes into Lucky's face, instantly into the stopwatch. Can he clear through the wave? He's doing a hell of a lot of damage. Holy Holy crap, Dale! Look at
Guys, deal with the rise.
Power goes down, the players there. Maxi's joining in. Can they end it? The hook's on. Paulson's looking for the Nexus. Here comes Bean. Taxa auto-attacking, trying to finish this one up.
Oh my
Again, the Nexus stands. Holy crap!
What am I watching? What am I watching? Again, we get this Fiesta ending. I thought it was game. They thought it was game. They ignored the rise. And then, I don't know. I don't know what to say at this point, Jake. Let's just play the replay, man. And this fight, like, they take down their Voxney. Credit to Maxi. Full man mode Trundle dives on him. And it looks like it's going okay-ish until we see the fact that Paulson turns up. And as soon as that happens, it's like, okay, it's game over. You know, he just cleans up all these kills, Goomba stomping everyone. I'm like, okay, this is game. Tricked like, this is game. Dejo's like, this is not game. Nice Zonya's usage there to buy time, and then he starts just doing this AoE, and they just don't prioritize him.
Then Voxy was on his own. They missed the Ash arrow, but they're going for Baron. Fnatic, it is true desperation mode.
Look at the health in this next though. It's like half an auto. I am absolute. Today has been quite the day. Baron Nashor picked up Elder on them. That ward is still there, and actually, Madly, his teleport's coming up kind of soon. I think the ward dies before his TP comes up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's dead. Oh, that's unlucky.
Unfortunately, they don't have the Realm Orb either. And actually, honestly, Dejo got Rabadons on the back of that, so he's actually spiking quite hard.
I mean, he did a lot of damage. He held the base. He is the reason that took them a little bit longer. And that little bit longer was the difference of that extra auto attack. Yeah. Can they make this Elder work? Can they make this Baron work is the question.
I don't think Trick should fight them right now. When they have the buffs, just play it slow. Play it slow. Be patient. It looks exciting. You're like, oh, look the Nexus. One auto, but no, it's not the play. If they pick Pride, it's pretty nice here, though. We'll see if he decides to walk up. Going for the Fnatic Death Brush against Fnatic is a bold strategy. They were a little bit off, though.
Wait, did they use Abyss Avoidance down and left. Base?
Yeah. I mean, anyone looks at the situation. Hey, Voxney in a side lane by himself? Surely not. Surely there's no reason they'd have the 80 carry at 39 minutes in the game, pushing a lane by himself. And you would be correct with that assumption. So very quickly, Trick realized they're not going to get anything off the back of this. And we see Fnatic pushing up once more. TP is there for Madly now, but nothing even remotely close to where he can teleport and go for the Nexus. But that being said, there's a ward in mid. TP flank is a possibility. They want to go for it.
Fnatic are finally going to crack that turret. There are only 2 turrets standing between Fnatic Rising and the European Masters, and apparently 3 turrets. Then Voxney is placing more turrets than they actually have permanently.
So P. Plus they do a lot of damage, so probably outvaluing the turrets at the moment in terms of that. You know what really is annoying at this point of the game is when you're playing like Lee Sin, right? Like, you don't pick Lee Sin for a 40-minute game. I know Lee Sin scales a lot better than he used to, don't get me wrong. But like, you're 40 minutes into the game. You didn't pick Lee Sin. Tax did not pick Lee Sin for this situation. All right, this is when you wanted to be playing things like the Rise and the Aphelios.
Yeah, he's not the kind of champion you take Gathering Storm on. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, anyone who has Gathering Storm here has absolute stonks.
Yeah, they are.
And it is only, I've heard it's only Dejo on the Rise.
Okay. Understandable, it is a Rise. Fnatic working this wave up. If they can take this inhibitor, they can't. So it doesn't matter. I'm not even going to finish that.
You don't even finish the point, just they can't. Nah.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have the same wave clear, and it's kind of just like a back and forth until the neutral spawn. But it's really scary because Fnatic don't like, they can be backdoored because they just have a Nexus. But I'm actually more concerned for Tricked because we've seen the shenanigans Fnatic have been up to so far, and it was. I could imagine them attempting those things again.
They've attempted it 3 times this series. Like,
if at first you fail, then try again.
They are literally not quitting. I mean, look, Rising Camille, top lane, large wave, realm warp available. They may just realm warp into this turret. They already started it up very low.
They have to clear the inhibitor, though. That's the critical thing. They have to take down an inhib before they can really do anything. And Tricked are moving this one. Oh, if they pick them Voxney.
Oh, he doesn't eat the hook, and I think that's going to be enough to hold the tower. Yeah, that's enough to hit.
Wave? What wave?
Infernal Soul plus Infernum is hot.
Yep, just burn the minions. And again, it's like this little back and forth. Fnatic tries something, and Tricked are like, no. And now we're just kind of chilling again, waiting for that pivotal moment where this game explodes, and we either have sheer regret from Tricked about that backdoor, or maybe just some relief.
I think either way, both teams are feeling relief, win or lose. This is a get me out kind of game.
The tension at this point of the game, Deja's going to steal away the red buff, which I can honestly say means very little at this point of the game. But he took it, and he will deny it away now. Pride's again playing with the side wave, and it kind of feels like there's been this shift where Fnatic will apply pressure on one side, and then they'll lean to the other. And Elder's spawning a 45, so if you're going to be on one side of the map, it definitely is going to be that bot side. All summoners available. We've kind of had just both teams chilling for the past 5 minutes. So everything available for this next fight.
Yeah, double Guardian Angel on Fnatic, double Guardian Angel on Tricked. Stopwatch available to Den Voxney, though. Bean doesn't have a stopwatch because he's actually opted into that last Whisper. Wants to be able to cut through. Well, Lucky, to be honest, is the only real frontline tank.
I think Bean used his stopwatch earlier.
I think he did as well. Yeah, I think you might be right, actually. As Madly got a nice flank position here.
This is a pretty nice angle.
Yeah,
there's no wards that will spot him out. If you look at the path from where he is through Raptors behind them, there's no way to stop them. But he has to recall because he's scared of the Camille, as I think Tricked have been for this entire game. If they pick, don't think he was spotted on the ward. If they pick Pride here, it is game winning.
It might be. They're looking for him. He hooks shots. He gets jumped onto. The flash is there. The exhaust is on. Goes into the Hextech ultimatum. Gets Buster shotted away. And down he goes. Oh, he hot melts Poulsen. Slicing Maelstrom's available to Madly if they need it. But it's not even going to be necessary. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, there's a fight breaking out. The teleports are coming in. They have that Slicing Maelstrom. What an insect! And what a Slicing Maelstrom! It cuts through Fnatic's health bars. They have nothing. They have no options remaining. And I think this might just be game. Fnatic, what can they do? Madly's going to bolt towards the base, and Fnatic are going to do exactly the same on the other side of the map, but Poulsen can just go in for the reset. The teleports, the resets, the respawns are not going to come in time, and Madly is going to look to take this. He's going to take the inhibitor, and he'll be on to the Nexus way before Fnatic can. This is going to be game. Tricks are going to the European Masters.
What an adventure. Honestly, what an adventure that game was. And honestly, Tricked, I think they would have been heartbroken if they'd lost that third game on the back of their half an auto needed to take out the Nexus. But they managed to find it back and win it. And I think the big thing was this was a tense series. There was a lot of back and forth moments. Fnatic challenged them. They kept looking for those back doors. And, I think Tricked made some really good decisions. When you're offered, a creative backdoor option consistently by Fnatic Rising, you have to always respect that. They responded well. I think, they came in pretty confidently on the back of their drafts. And in their team fights, they were on form. We said, Poulsen and Voxney, those are the two to watch, and they definitely delivered.
They absolutely did. Honestly, fantastic game there from Riddle. I think there were mistakes. I think both teams didn't look infallible. There's going to obviously be stuff that they need to work on going into the finals, in both loser bracket finals and the actual finals. Fnatic aren't done. They're not out yet, but they have to play through Singularity in a best of 5 next Tuesday to make it to then have a rematch versus Tricked. So it's a climb now for Fnatic. It's a lot of games they've got to play if they want to climb back up, and they do not look like the cleanest team in the world right now. So we're going to pass it over to our analyst desk to break down today's action and that game in particular. So Viper, over to you.